NBA draft is right around the corner. What is going on, y'all? 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA, talking about the 2018 NBA draft, and more specifically talking about sleeper stars and busts in regards to this draft. Before I get started, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you do not miss out on my videos when I post them, because I do have a lot of draft content already, and I'm going to have a lot of draft content coming out post NBA draft, so you don't want to miss out. But not just draft, we got free agency, off-season news, everything else in between in regards to the NBA, and then the NFL season starting up. Boy, you don't want to miss that. So with that being said, today's video is going to be about the draft, and I'm going to talk about sleepers, stars, and busts in this draft that I project to see. So I've already made my mock draft for this draft, my final one, and have two actually, so go ahead and check those out in my recent videos, although I do need to make a small tweak to my mock draft now that I think about it, with new information coming out, but I'll mention that in this video. But with that being said, let's get on with it. Let's talk about it. I'm going to give you guys 3 players at each level, so I'm going to give you guys 3 guys who I believe are going to be stars, 3 busts, and 3 sleepers. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start with the 3 stars, and honestly, you guys might think Fiz, this isn't surprising, but stay tuned, because there's a reason I'm picking these guys, okay? Because one, I didn't want to overlap, even though I could have, and it's funny, you might think, how can you predict somebody to be a star and a bust? Again, I will elaborate, but with that being said, the 3 stars I have in this draft, and these are basically guys that I feel pretty confident about that are going to turn into stars, that I really see almost 0 bust potential, is DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, and Marvin Bagley. Yes, the top 3 projected picks, okay? So, yes, it's not a big surprise. They're the top 3 projected picks, but the reason why I'm picking them is because I looked around at the rest of this draft, and I'm sorry, everybody else has some major holes and weaknesses that I just cannot feel comfortable saying that, oh my God, they're for sure going to be a star. I'm seeing a 10-year all-star starter or whatever. No, I'm talking about like bona fide star. I see it in these 3 guys. Ayton, we know he's going to be the #1 pick. He's got incredible size, incredible skill for a big. He can shoot the ball, which is crazy to me. He's got that DeMarcus Cousins type of potential in him, and he's going to go to a Suns team where he's going to put up crazy numbers, I'm sure. But Ayton's got all the physical tools. He's got everything that a team needs. He's got an NBA-ready body. He's a great rebounder. He's got potential on the defensive end. So DeAndre Ayton is almost a ready-made type of player who, at worst, I mean, he could probably average at worst a 12 and 10 double-double in his rookie year. That's how good DeAndre Ayton, I think, will be. We're looking at, like I said, a DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard type of player here in DeAndre Ayton. But Ayton is going to be able to shoot a little bit more, of course, than Dwight was able to do. Let's move on to Luka Doncic. A lot of guys are down on Doncic, guys. I mentioned this in my mock draft. Scouts and teams are just saying, no, we're going to pass on Doncic. Don't do it, folks. You're going to regret it. This guy's going to be good. And I'm telling you, this was the same reaction when the Knicks drafted Kristaps Porzingis a couple years ago. We have these reactions with European players, but trust me, this guy is a playmaker. The thing that makes me sure that he's going to be a star is the fact that he's not dependent on sort of one thing. He's a total playmaker, if you will. He can score, he can dish the ball. Yes, will he be a bit of a liability on the defensive end? But yeah, yes, he will. But it's a pace and space type of NBA, which is why I see him as a perfect fit. Now, all these guys need to land on the right team for them to pan out, but that is the expectation here. So I see Doncic as being a star in this league. Could he become, at worst, he could probably be a very good role player. But again, star potential, I see it in Luka Doncic. I don't know why these teams are continue to drop him on their draft boards. He's got great size. He's like 6'7", 6'8". He's listed at what, like, I thought I saw like 280 or something. It was ridiculous. But Doncic's playmaking ability, folks, make no mistake about it, it's not easy to find. And he's a winner, okay? He's won in Europe and European leagues. For whatever reason, we don't think it are as good as college, folks. These are still professional players out there, and Doncic has been doing this for a very long time. I feel very confident about him. And then finally, Marvin Bagley. Like I said, he's about as solid of a pick as you can get. The forward out of Duke, I think he's going to be a double-double machine right out the door. Any team that gets him is going to get solid athleticism. Wingspans, ridiculous. Rebounder, he's great at that. He does need to develop his shooting a little bit more, but to me, like I said, I see him as a day one starter, double-double machine, elite defensive potential. So definitely see Marvin Bagley as a future star in this league. I see an all-star type of player in Marvin Bagley. So let's talk about sleeper. So what is a sleeper? Sleeper is basically somebody who is going to go later than they should. But of course, if you're picked, second and you were supposed to go first, that's not really a sleeper. I'm talking more like, you drop like 5, 10, 15, 20 picks, okay? So that's basically a sleeper to me. So I'm going to stay away from the high draft picks and kind of focus on, the back end of the draft. So my first sleeper is Anthony Simmons, the point guard out of AMG Academy, because he didn't go to college. And this is why, to me, he's a sleeper, because a lot of people, when they see that, this guy didn't go to college, it's a red flag. But, folks, no, not everybody has to take that route. If you guys remember, Thon Maker, I believe, took this route as well. And with Anthony Simmons right now, I have him going 15th, I believe, in my mock draft. No, 19th, excuse me. I have him going 19th in my mock draft to the Atlanta Hawks as the replacement to Dennis Schroeder, who I expect to be traded this summer. And with Anthony Simmons, you're looking at a guy who's about 6'3", 185. Like I said, didn't go to college, so a lot of people are dropping him on their draft boards. But he's got a solid wingspan, great perimeter score. He's got good court vision, great feel for the ball. He's got all of the tools that you would look for in a point guard. I see a lot of potential in this kid. He reminds me, however, Dennis Schroeder, it's funny that I say that, but I see him as that type of player, but he can really do it all. But to me, the reason why he's dropping, and he should be not dropping, he should be rising up on draft boards, is because people see him as sort of a red flag, as sort of a question mark, because there's no college tape to go off of. But he still put up numbers at the academy, so take it for what you will. I think he's going to be a sleeper. Any team that needs a point guard, Anthony Simmons is going to be good for them. Let's move on to my second sleeper. I have Troy Brown out of Oregon, the 6'7" guard. This is the typical 3-and-D player in the NBA that teams are dying for today. Yes, can Troy Brown improve on his shooting? Yes, he can, but it will come. I see the potential here, and that's what I'm talking about. I actually don't even think I have Troy Brown up until a 26th pick, yes, to the Philadelphia 76ers, okay? So like I said, I have these guys going late, and that's what I'm sticking by, but I see him as a perfect fit in today's pace and space offense because he's got the elite defensive potential you need, and he can learn how to shoot the ball. Right now, he's not that great of a scorer, averaged, about 11 points a game at Oregon, but I see the potential in Troy Brown, and if he goes to the right team, he can develop into that. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a Klay Thompson type of 3-and-D player, but you get my point when I say that. He's got that type of potential, a solid depth for anybody looking for a guard off the bench. So that is my second sleeper. And then finally, this guy, you guys know, if you guys have been watching my videos, I've been hammering him home, Dante DiVincenzo. I think I butchered his last name. Out of Villanova, the forward. This guy's just a winner to me. He's just a clear winner. Won 2 national championships. Does everything that you want in terms of being the right teammate. Makes all the hustle plays. Always giving it 100%, diving for loose balls. He's just a great guy to have around. But it's not just I want him because of his, sort of ability to make hustle plays. No, he's got real skill. He can hit the 3 ball. He can defend. He can rebound. He can do a little bit of everything. I can definitely see him being a great 6-man for any team off the bench or even a quality role player. So definitely see him as a very good player. So Dante DiVincenzo out of Villanova. Again, I'm butchering his name. I know it, but I think he's going to be a major sleeper. And finally, let us move on to BUSTS. And you guys are not going to like this part, but I have to pick BUSTS, right? And what is a BUSTS? A BUSTS is somebody who was picked higher than they should have been or went way too high. And you will notice this, and I want to throw out this disclaimer. A lot of these guys that I'm predicting are busts are guys that I liked as well. Now, how does that make sense? Well, here's the thing. I like a lot of guys, but there are still some drawbacks to them, okay? But I like them, but there are drawbacks. So if I had to pick busts, I can see why this guy who does have potential could also bust. That's what I mean by that. So, for example, Michael Porter Jr. is my #1 bust here. And the reason I have him listed as a bust is not because I don't believe in him. I really do. It's because of the injury concern. So Michael Porter Jr., if the back clears out, I think he's going to be an absolute stud, and he's going to be a steal where he's going to be picked, because I have him projected around 7 to the Bulls, and teams are sliding him in that range. But with Michael Porter Jr., if the back issues, prop up and he's got other injury concerns, now he might be a bust because of that reason. So the injury concerns make him a huge red flag, which thus make him a bust. So that's what I mean by that. That doesn't mean I think Michael Porter Jr. is a trash and he's going to be absolutely awful. No, I just think the injury concerns are there. Let's move on to my second potential bust, and that is Trae Young. I like Trae Young. I really do. Again, I don't want to go Stephen A. Smith here. He's my dear friend and all of that. Trae Young, his limited size really scares me, okay? And he's a very small, diminutive point guard. Everybody loves the Steph Curry comparison, but if you guys remember, Steph early on was not the Steph later on, okay? He had injury concerns. Again, the same theme here with the injuries with Trae Young. Being so small, he could get banged up easily. Steph Curry had glass ankles his first couple years in the league. He could get pushed around on the defensive end. I think he will get pushed around on the defensive end. And if you're just relying on his shooting, then he could be a liability, really. So with Trae Young, if he turns out to just be, a one-dimensional scorer and he's going with the 5th, 6th pick, that might be too high for him. So that's what I kind of mean by Trae Young being a potential bust. I think he will still be good, but I could see some concerns here with Trae Young being a potential bust where he's taken at. And let's move on to my last one. And this is another player that I do like, but he's just shooting up draft boards like crazy, and that is Mo Bamba. Okay, no, I don't think Mo Bamba is bad. I like Mo Bamba as well, but again, the red flags with Mo Bamba. We've seen guys in this league before, in this draft before, in drafts prior to this, with crazy physical tools that don't always translate on the basketball court. Case in point, a guy like Hasheem Thabeet a few years back was the #2 overall pick to the Memphis Grizzlies. We get enamored with these guys that are, extremely long, extremely agile, wingspan is ridiculous, and that's the thing with Mo Bamba, and I definitely see the skill. Mo Bamba, to me, Mo Bamba has basically no floor in terms of a middle ground at all. So it's either his ceiling is crazy high or he's going to be a bust, okay? That's basically what I see with Mo Bamba. Either he's going to be an absolute all-star player or he's going to be a bust. So that's the thing with Mo Bamba. He's got all the physical tools, but really we've seen guys before not pick up the game. You look at a guy like a Thon Maker. I know Thon Maker wasn't picked as high, but teams still reach for him. The Bucks reach for him. And Thon Maker has turned out to be okay, but nothing special. And that's another concern with Mo Bamba. Will he be okay? Will he be special if he's taken at the #2 overall pick? Can he live up to those expectations? So a lot to question there. To me, he's got a lot to develop on the offensive end, but hopefully that comes. So there you have it, folks. My 3 potential busts. So there's 3 sleepers, 3 stars, and 3 busts. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys did, please make sure to go ahead and like this video. Please make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Please make sure to follow me on my social media links down below for that. And as always, thank you for watching.